Another day, another unscripted. Yes, we are here in the bed because I can't be asked to put too much effort into some of these videos. Sometimes I feel more at peace just chilling with the microphone in hand, talking about stuff, bro. And today we gonna talk about that next gen, the NASCAR Next Gen car. All right, so I've seen it race twice. Well, three if you count the Coliseum, but yeah, let's properly. I've seen it race twice, right? I've watched the Daytona 500. I've watched the previous race in Auto Club, and I'm sold on this car, man. I think this car is really getting the job done as it regards just better racing, man. Like, obviously, Auto Club is one of those tracks where crazy stuff can happen. We watched 2013, we watched 2014, 2015 as well was kind of crazy, but like we know that this is a track where mad stuff can happen. But yeah, just watching this race, man, I felt something different watching it. You know, I know that the next gen was supposed to promote parity, and in my opinion, it really has, because we saw an RCR car at the front. We saw the 43 at the front. I mean, yeah, Hendrick car won it, but we saw a Trackhouse car competing for the win. All of that stuff, right? So in terms of parity, I think this car is working out quite fine. We saw a colleague in the top 10. Granted, I don't really know how good colleague are. Maybe they'd have been just as good with the Gen 6, but again, they said this was for parity, and clearly it seems to be working. But even just the racing in general, man, I realized that cars, visibly at least, look like they are following each other better. I saw a lot of people getting some massive runs, and don't get me wrong, obviously auto clubs are big tracks, so if there's anywhere where you can generate a massive slipstream and gain an advantage on the car in front of you, it's here. But the runs that some of these guys were getting, man, were just crazy, bro. So clearly it seems to me as though the dirty air issue is becoming a thing of the past. I still need to see it at more tracks first, compare it to other old Gen 6 races before I come to a full decision. But it looks promising. It really does. I just, the racing, I don't know if it's just the new car feel. Maybe there's nothing new and I'm just talking out, maybe I'm just talking out of nothing. But like, it just feels different. It looks better. It looks more competitive just from my TV screen. Even the plate racing, man. Like, these cars look more agile to me. They look more lively. The moves I'm seeing people make on plate tracks, it just, I don't know what, it just feels like I haven't been seeing stuff like this in a while, It just feels like I hadn't been seeing stuff like that in a while. I'm trying to remember. I think it was Keselowski. The last laps of that duel that Keselowski won. Like, just the movements that were taking place, man. It just felt like drivers were putting... It felt like driver input was just more evident. Again, man, this is just me spiraling right here now. But I really like what I'm seeing from this next gen. Especially in qualifying with Auto Club, when you saw all those guys spinning out, man. I really think that these cars being difficult to drive will separate the wheat from the chaff. Because you had guys like Harvick spinning out, experienced duns like Harvick and Keselowski were losing the car. You got people like Chastain, he was losing the car. Elliott was losing the car. Kyle Busch lost the car in the race. Yeah? Stuff like that, man. It's just, when it looks like, when these cars come off as difficult to drive, it makes the people that win these races at the end of the day and have good runs look more credible, in my eyes at least. These guys look more credible in my eyes, in my view, because they are handling a car that people that are more experienced than them aren't. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that can be down to setup, but obviously these are new cars, so clearly driver input plays a massive role in some way. But yeah, man, when I was seeing all those guys spin out in qualifying, I was like, all right, these cars really are something. Because, I mean, they didn't really seem to be struggling too much at Daytona, but that's a plate track, you know what I'm saying? Coliseum's quite short. But this was the main test. This was like the first proper test of these next gen cars. And Auto Club was great, bro. Auto Club was great. We had Reddick out there leading 90 laps. We had Jones competing for the win. We had Suarez competing for the win. We saw Elliott try and make a move on Larson. It didn't work out. My only gripe with these cars is the flat tire stuff, bro. That needs to be mitigated immediately. We can't have guys losing, well, losing laps, yeah, but the amount that losing a tire hampers a driver, I don't remember it ever being this bad. I don't remember people losing so many laps because of a flat, you know. I'm used to seeing guys being able to make it back to the pits even with a flat tire. And obviously with these cars, you know, there's nothing underneath the main tire to like keep the car going when a flat comes, and they have to be towed. And that can lead to longer cautions, takes competitive drivers out when they can realistically fix the issue. That's one thing I wish would change personally. I know they have, what's that, independent suspension or something. Again, this is just me talking out of the blue. This independent suspension that they have too, where like, cause I remember when the Daytona 500 crash happened and Hamlin's car was completely like shifted because the suspension in the back was destroyed. Stuff like that, I also just don't really mind that much. But the tire to me is probably the only gripe I have with this car. I don't like the consequences that the drivers face for having a flat. I feel like it's too much having to tow people all the time over stuff as simple as a flat tire. There needs to be something in place to make sure that these guys can withstand a flat and make it to the pits even with one. But outside of that, man, this car is great, bro. Auto Club was great. And I know it's a track that produces exciting racing, but I don't think I've been this excited for an Auto Club race since, I want to say, 2014, because I didn't watch 2015 live, but 2014 was the last major awesome Auto Club race that I watched, and this race brought me back to that. This race brought me back to 2013 when Logano and Hamlin were battling it out, took each other out. Bush went around the outside, won that race. That's what this reminded me of, bro. So I like what I'm seeing from this next gen. I think the next race is Vegas. Love to see what these cars can do on a 1.5 mile track, because those are kind of like the cookie cutter tracks of NASCAR. If they can race well at Vegas, then I think we're in for a very good season. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about this NASCAR Next Gen. The end. Goodbye. Go away.